Once upon a time, the horses were slow and the road was long, but people still wrote to their loved ones. The joy and pain haven't really changed from ancient times to now. A letter might be thin, but it can still convey lots of love.
郎君，你是美玉，即将成为年轻的官员，眼界大开。虽然不是大事业，却也是孔圣人追求的目标。收到你的来信，总以为我们能相见，可是我的身体实在不好，只能叹息，不能去见你了。你就要动身了，该带的行李都仔细整理好了吧？
This letter was written by Shi Shu, a female poet of the Eastern Han Dynasty, and it was sent to her husband, Qin Jia. They lived in Pingxian County, west of the Liupan Mountains, today's Tongwei County in Gansu Province. Qin Jia was a minor civilian official. When he was 30, he received an order to go to the capital to report his work and local situation. The capital of the Eastern Han Dynasty was Luoyang, over 500 kilometers away from Gansu. Unfortunately, Shi Shu was at her parents' house at the time. Qin Jia sent a carriage to pick her up, but Shi Shu was sick and couldn't leave.
这世上成千上万桩婚姻，可能是幸福的源泉，也可能是灾祸的根本。世人对待婚姻无不谨慎，我也是战战兢兢，怕自己没有运气寻到志同道合的爱人。感谢神灵眷顾，竟然让我遇到你，承蒙上天恩泽，让我得妻如此。
This is the declaration of love written by Qin Jia to Shi Shu. Qin Jia had been extremely afraid of marriage because he was the only son of the family, which meant that he was responsible for the continuation of the family line. But he insisted on finding his true love. Such persistence would be exceptional, even today, let alone more than 2,000 years ago. When he was almost 30, he finally met Shi Shu. Shi Shu was a legendary woman. Thanks to her poetry, she holds a place in the history of Chinese literature. When these two talented souls met, others no longer mattered to them. All that Qin Jia and Shi Shu left to future generations is their love letters to each other.
岁月匆匆，一想到我们之间还要相隔千山万水，我就心有戚戚。所以，我想晚走2天，哪怕短短的见一面，说上几句话也好啊。我派车去接你，你愿意来吗？
Qin Jia didn't know that Shi Shu was pregnant at the time. He deduced from the letter that Shi Shu was weak due to some chronic disease. The end of the year was the busiest time for work, so Shi Shu went back to her parents' house to recuperate so as not to affect her husband. Soon after, she learned that she was pregnant. Before she could tell her husband the good news, Qin Jia received an imperial order to go to the capital. The book of the later Han recorded Qin Jia's long journey. Over 700 of the most talented civilian officials went to the capital to meet the emperor and the ministers and report on the local situation in their jurisdictions. Shi Shu knew that Qin Jia always wanted to bring peace and stability to the country, and she didn't want to become an obstacle to him.
谁说京城很遥远？我踮起脚尖就能看到呢。我在家里，你在远方，我没有什么辛苦的。蜿蜒逶迤的山谷你要跋涉，高山峻岭你要翻越，这才是难事啊。以后漫长的路， 你要慢慢走过，凛冽的风霜你要承受。可惜我的身子不能成为你的影子，要到什么时候我们才能长相厮守呢？
In 162 AD, two happy things happened to the Qin family. Shi Shu gave birth to an adorable girl, and Qin Jia got a promotion. Qin Jia was so talented that he won the favor of Emperor Huan of Han, and he was appointed Yellow Gate Chamberlain and stayed in Luoyang all year round. For the next few years, the couple endured a long separation. Although Yellow Gate Chamberlain was just a minor official with an average salary, it was a very important post. During the Qin and Han dynasties, the gates of the imperial palace were yellow, so the Yellow Gate Chamberlain was near the emperor. This was the only position in the palace that was not held by eunuchs. Qin Jia was trusted by the emperor and was in charge of the communication between the emperor and the ministers. His career was quite promising. Since Qin Jia had established himself in Luoyang, however, why didn't he bring Shi Shu and their daughter there?
人生有如清晨露水，居处世上，动辄遭难。忧患艰险时常降临，欢欣愉悦，迟来深山。见你书信，倍感心伤。面对美食不能下咽，孤独一人，静坐空房。谁能给我安慰宽勉？
This is a poem Qin Jia wrote to Shi Shu after their separation. As seen in the poem, Qin Jia was not happy. At the end of the Eastern Han Dynasty, Emperor Huan, addicted to frivolity, was failing in his governance of the country. With a weak and debauched emperor, the eunuch seized power, and the struggle with scholar officials intensifying. Caught between the two forces, Qin Jia lived a life of constant fear, perpetually treading on thin ice. The young Qin Jia, who had limited experience of officialdom, probably felt a sense of disillusionment in the face of such dangerous power struggles. In this situation, he couldn't even take care of himself, let alone guarantee the safety of his family. Bringing them to Luoyang was unthinkable.
诗经中描述，丈夫离家，妻子就蓬头垢面，无意梳妆打扮。班婕妤也曾叹息：“神渺渺兮觅亮处，君不遇兮谁为容？”等我的夫君回来，我才会抚琴咏诗。我要一直等待，等夫君亲手递我金簪，那时我再用它挽起长发。
In the winter of 164 AD, while on a tour with Emperor Huan, Qin Jia died suddenly. While some say that he died due to sudden disease, others speculate that he was murdered by his political opponents. In the first half of Shi Shu's life, she enjoyed the warmth and happiness of love, thanks to Qin Jia. In the second half of her life, she did three things for her departed beloved. Despite her own frailty, she went to Luoyang and brought back Qin Jia's body so that he could rest in peace in his hometown. She adopted a son for Qin Jia and raised their children. When her brothers forced Shi Shu to remarry, she disfigured herself and lived alone until she died. Chinese people believe that love is eternal. If there really is an afterlife, Qin Jia can say it again to Shi Shu. I thank God for bringing you to me.
竟然让我找到你。
What would you do if one day your lover no longer loves you? 2,000 years ago, a woman ran her marriage with no less boldness and wisdom than any contemporary woman.
皑如山上雪，皎若云间月。闻君有两意，故来相决绝。
During the Western Han Dynasty, more than 2,000 years ago, a woman in Chengdu named Zhuo Wenjun was writing a letter to her husband, Sima Shangru, an official in Chang'an. Their story was once well known among the people, but now the passionate love seemed to be coming to an abrupt end.
今日斗酒会，明旦沟水头。过去的生活宛如沟水东流，一去不返。我毅然离家随君而去，没有像寻常女子那般凄凄啼哭，满以为嫁了一个情意专心的称心郎，可以相爱到老，永远幸福。
In the records of the grand historian, Sima Qian, top merchants in Linchun County, Sichuan. Once Zhuo Wangsun held a grand banquet. Ru was at a low point in his life.
琴声依旧在响，但已经不是原来的人在弹奏。锦江中鸳鸯互相陪伴，就像汉宫里枝条交错相依。 他们都不会离开自己的伴侣。令人感叹的是，这个世上却有人。
Jun encountered the curse of love. When Sima Shangru became wealthy and successful, he betrayed his wife. In 141 BC, when Emperor Wu, Sima Shangru fell in love with a woman in Chang'an and insisted on taking her as a concubine. This went against Zhuo Wenjun's ideal of love. 2 people for a lifetime. Zhuo Wenjun was not the kind of woman to swallow an insult. She dared to love and also dared to hate. In The White-Haired Lament and Farewell Letter, she reminisced about the happy life they used to live, as well as directly showing a decisive attitude. Fixing things or losing her were the only 2 options for Sima Shangru.
朱弦断，知音绝，明镜缺，夫妻分。朝露稀，缘分尽，方时歇，人分离。一曲白头吟，从此伤离别。你大可不必挂念我，照顾好自己就行。我对着浩浩汤汤的井水发誓，今日若分别，就是永远的诀别。
After receiving the letter, Sima Shangru came to his senses and realized the mistake he made. He brought Zhuo Wenjun to Chang'an from Sichuan and lived happily with her ever since. In 386 AD, Wang Xianzhi, a calligrapher of the Eastern Jin Dynasty, got seriously ill, so his family invited a Taoist priest to cast a spell in the hope of dispelling the illness. The Taoist priest asked Wang Xianzhi, "Have you ever committed any unforgivable mistakes in your life?" Wang Xianzhi replied, "I have never failed anyone in my life, and my only regret is divorcing Chu Dao Mao." This is not only a famous work of calligraphy, but also a letter. Wang Xianzhi was the youngest son of the sage of calligraphy, Wang Shizhi. They are known together in history as the two Wangs for their calligraphic achievements. Prior to the Tang Dynasty, Wang Xianzhi's calligraphy works were even more highly regarded than his father's. But Emperor Taizong of Tang held Wang Shizhi's calligraphy in extremely high esteem, and Wang Xianzhi's works began to be neglected, with fewer and fewer of his works being passed down to posterity. In the Song Dynasty, calligrapher Mi Fu asked a friend for one of Wang Xianzhi's works, and he offered the following things in exchange: a copybook of Huai Su's calligraphy, 2 Ouyang Shun's calligraphy works, 6 paintings of Wang Wei, a belt made of rhinoceros horn, and a bonsai of jade coral. This all goes to show just how precious Wang Xianzhi's works were. Today, no more than 7 works of Wang Xianzhi have been handed down, and the most touching piece of all is the letter Wang Xianzhi wrote to his ex-wife.
"我和你在一起，多久都不会厌倦，哪怕是年复一年，相互凝视，我也很高兴。那时候，我们额头相对，时间变得很慢很慢，一直想着要和你白头到老，没想到竟会走到今天的地步。"
The Wang clan of Langya was a famous Jin dynasty clan that produced many talents. Wang Shizhi's youngest son was not only handsome, but also greatly talented. When Wang Xianzhi was 16, he married his cousin, Chu Dao Mao. The Chu clan was also a noble clan with many members holding important positions in the imperial court. Wang Shizhi's wife was Chu Dao Mao's aunt. The couple who grew up together were not only husband and wife, but also best friends. Chu Dao Mao was talented and well-educated, and she was good at calligraphy as well. 6 months after the wedding, their fathers passed away, one after another, and the young couple in love supported each other. They went from being mere lovers to a true couple. The last thing anyone expected was that an even more serious misfortune than the death of their fathers was about to afflict them.
我很想念你，你现在过得好不好？想到你，我的心在继续，不知道什么时候才能和你相见。希望你能珍重，如果可以，给我回个信，我想知道你的近况。
These words are another letter Wang Xianzhi wrote to Chu Dao Mao. Wang Xianzhi started writing it in standard running hand script, but as he wrote faster and faster, it became increasingly illegible, so much so that the characters of the last sentence are barely recognizable. It was as if he was literally spilling his inner torment and anxiety onto the paper. When Wang Xianzhi wrote this letter, Chu Dao Mao and he had already divorced, and the reason was unimaginable. The princess fell in love with Wang Xianzhi and wouldn't marry anyone else. When she was young, the princess married to the Huan clan, a big clan at the time. It was a political marriage, and the princess wasn't happy about it. When the Huan clan began an internal struggle and her husband got demoted, she immediately ended the marriage. The handsome and talented Wang Xianzhi became the princess's prey. The princess had to have a legal and formal wedding and marriage, so the emperor ordered Wang Xianzhi to divorce his wife. For Wang Xianzhi, far from being good news, being favored by the princess was an unforeseen disaster. The Wang family was a big and powerful family, so he didn't need to fawn upon the nobility. But no one could disobey an emperor's order. Wang Xianzhi's only option was self-mutilation. According to history, he burned his feet with silvery wormwood resulting in a lifelong disability. But even so, the princess insisted on marrying him. Was the princess really a brutal and unreasonable woman who would split up a couple in love because of her own desires? The truth is more complex than that. In the Eastern Jin Dynasty, where the Sima clan was in power, both the Wang and Huan clans were large and powerful, and royal marriages were often a means of maintaining the balance of power. The real mastermind behind the princess's abandonment of the Huan clan and remarriage to the Wang clan was the emperor. Between clan interests and personal feelings, Wang Xianzhi had no choice but to divorce his beloved cousin. Power thus shattered love and buried the happiness of two young people.
我很难受，非常难受。道貌，什么时候才能再见到你？
After marrying the princess, although Wang Xianzhi's political career developed smoothly and rapidly, he was always suffering. In addition to the crippling pain of his burned feet, the hurt of losing his beloved seemed to be endless.
欲哭亦无泪，日日复悲伤。或许要到死的那一天才会解脱吧。
After the divorce, Zhu Daomao had to live with her uncle's family because her father had already passed away. She didn't remarry and died in her 30s due to sadness. In 386 AD, the 43-year-old Wang Xianzhi came to the end of his life. When telling of the regrets of his life, he said that he could only think of divorcing Zhu Daomao. When people look back on their lives before dying, they can only think of the most important ones in their lives. In the history of Chinese literature, Li Shangyin is one of the leading writers of love poetry. But who would have thought that this man who was so flirtatious in his poetry would be a rare, loyal lover in the world?
前2天，我在张平氏那里看到了您的手书，得知大人您有意赏赐一名越籍女子，为我缝补衣衫，照料我的生活。
In 851 AD, aged 38, Li Shangyin entered the darkest moment in his life. His wife, Wang Yanmei, passed away due to illness. Now on the cusp of middle age, he needed to make ends meet while taking care of his young children. At this point, Liu Zhongying, the governor of Western Sichuan, invited him to work for him in Sichuan. Seeing that he was all alone and could not even take care of himself, Liu Zhongying offered to give him a sing-song girl as a concubine. When Li Shangyin heard about it, he wrote this letter.
妻子亡故，还没有几日，我像半死的梧桐，独活于世，苟延残喘。想念子女，却没有功夫照顾。 可怜他们还都那么小。每每看到余信写给妻子的书信，心中满是酸苦。读到陶渊明写给幼子的诗，就叹息自己在外漂泊。
In 838 AD, 25-year-old Li Shangyin met Wang Yanmei, the daughter of Wang Mao Yuan, the governor of Jing Prefecture and Yun Prefecture. Wang Mao Yuan appreciated Li Shangyin's talent and invited him to be his advisor in Jingchuan, Gansu. Li Shangyin was a man without a childhood. His father passed away when he was 9, and as the eldest son, he took on the responsibility of taking care of the family. As a teenager, he supported his family by pounding rice and copying books. And as an adult, he began to travel around to find a job. Working for Wang Mao Yuan inadvertently led Li Shangyin to the love of his life. Wang Yanmei was a unique girl from a noble family. She appreciated the talent of this poor scholar, did not care about the worldly concept of being well matched, and was determined to marry him. The long years of depending on others had made Li Shangyin sensitive and inferior, but Wang Yanmei lit up his world like sunshine.
当年常听到人们谈论天上的仙子鄂律华，总觉得太遥远了，好似相隔天涯。哪知道此时此刻，我竟然也能成为座上宾客，得以窥见神仙般的容颜。
This is a poem written by Li Shangyin with no name. It's hazy and lingering, reflecting his own character. Later generations speculate that this poem depicts his excitement when he met Wang Yanmei for the first time. Having found the love of his life, Li Shangyin was full of expectations for his life. After the wedding, he went to Chang'an to take the examination for the Ministry of Personnel. But then came a serious blow. In the examination, he was disqualified in the second round. It was because rumors began circulating that he was a person of inferior character. The old Book of Tang says about Li Shangyin that he had no integrity and was arrogant, so he was despised by those in power and had a difficult career. The new Book of Tang and biographies of Tang talents also say that Li Shangyin was ungrateful and unethical. What exactly did Li Shangyin do that led to the world's contempt?
感恩您如此礼遇我，仅因向他实管金台，我又岂能不全心全意效命？越级女子一事，实在是因为我早年曾经学道，又经历这多年坎坷，渐渐参悟了玄门奥义，对于男女情爱之事，已然没有任何追求。
Li Shangyin's reputation was not good, and few employers were willing to hire him. He cherished this hard-won job, but also firmly refused Liu Zhongyin's kind offer. How could a scholar with no power and no influence attract the criticism of the world? The reason was his marriage to Wang Yanmei. Li Shangyin lived in the late Tang Dynasty, when the dynasty was about to collapse, and its ministers were busy with the factional struggles that have gone down in history as the New Li strife. At that time, there were two main factions, the New faction and the Li faction. When Li Shangyin was 16, he studied under a literary scholar named Ling Hu Chu, who helped him tremendously in both material and literary creation. While Ling Hu Chu was a member of the New faction, Li Shangyin's father-in-law, Wang Mao Yuan, belonged to the Li faction. Therefore, he became a man who accepted the New faction's help and wanted to be the son-in-law of a member of the Li faction. Between politics and love, Li Shangyin chose love without hesitation.
以往诗中虽有南国妖姬、歌台妙计，那都是文思遐想，我实非风流之人。希望您能听到我恳切的愿望，收回之前赏赐越级女子的决定。
The world had a deep misunderstanding of Li Shang-yin, saying that he was ungrateful and flirtatious. But in fact, he was just a simple man caught up in the hurly-burly of the day. A poet's falling into the rough-and-tumble world of politics was destined to end in tragedy. In order to support his family, Li Shang-yin took the examination again and was appointed reviewer at the palace library. But then he was marginalized by the new faction and reassigned assistant to a county head. In over a decade, he kept looking for new positions and had little time to spend with his wife. Yet Wang Yanmei never complained. Whenever Li Shang-yin was treated unfairly, Wang Yanmei would write to him to comfort and encourage him, keeping him hopeful.
夫人寄来的书信绵绵长长，一腔殷切之情，我都能想象得到你细细的眉毛微微蹙起的样子。你劝我说，可不能像那弹棋的棋盘，起伏不平啊。
Wang Yanmei was probably the last person in the world who understood him. She cherished her husband's naive innocence, helped him heal his wounds little by little, and guided him to adapt to the harsh reality of life. The poor and strenuous life put too much burden on Wang Yanmei's body. In the 12th year of their marriage, she passed away. On the day she left, Li Shang-yin's outpouring of grief began, never to cease. Li Shang-yin never married again. He refused Liu Zhongyin's kind offer, not because he was interested in Taoism, but because there would never be a second Wang Yanmei. On a rainy autumn night in Sichuan, Li Shang-yin saw in a trance that his wife was still alive and waiting for him to return home.
君问归期，未有期。巴山夜雨涨秋池，何当共剪？西窗烛，却话爬山，夜雨湿。
The living and deceased are reunited in the poem. He wants to tell his wife, "I'm sorry that my life is not that successful. Thank you. My life is cold and tough, but I'm so lucky to have you, my sunshine, to keep me warm." What is true love? The ancient Chinese people would tell you the story of the butterfly lovers, Liang Shanbo and Zhu Yingtai. Modern people will take the movie Titanic as an example. Over 1,000 years ago, there was a true story no less touching and charming than those classical love legends.
女子对丈夫的心， 就好比忠臣对君王的心，是唯一的，而你，就是我在这世上唯一爱的人。
This is the letter Lady Wu Linda, a Jurchen woman, wrote to her husband, Wan Yan-yong, at the courier station in Liangshan, near Beijing. In the 12th century, the Wanyan clan of the Jurchen people established the Jin Dynasty, whose territory reached as far south as the Huaihua River and as far north as present-day Siberia, alongside the southern Song and western Xia. Wan Yan-yong was the grandson of the founder of the Jin Dynasty, Wanyan Aguda, and was trusted by Emperor Shi Zong of Jin for his ability and bravery on the battlefield. But a coup changed the life of Wan Yan-yong. In 1149, Wan Yan-yong's cousin, Wan Yan-liang, committed regicide and became the emperor.
感谢上苍，我无德无才，却能够成为你的妻子，这是三生修来的福气。我们很幸福，有过一段美满的日子，那是我人生中最美好的时光。但是好事多磨，原以为安安稳稳就能保全，可乱世中有太多无奈。
Lady Wu Linda and Wan Yan-yong grew up together, and they were always the best of friends to each other. The start of their story is like a fairy tale. They got engaged at 5 and got married at 18. Lady Wu Linda was from a noble family. According to the history of Jin, she was elegant, smart, and assertive. Although Wan Yan-yong came from an even more prominent family, his father passed away when he was 13, and his mother left home and became a nun, effectively making him an orphan. The company of Lady Wu Linda warmed Wan Yan-yong's lonely childhood. The precocious Wan Yan-yong was calm, collected, and wise. He had great prestige in the army. When his eldest brother, Emperor Shi Zong, was reigning, he once marginalized Wan Yan-yong, being afraid of Wan Yan-yong's talent. Lady Wu Linda was also her husband's brain truster, and she suggested Wan Yan-yong give a jade belt of the emperor of the northern Song dynasty to Emperor Shi Zong. The emperor's stuff should belong to an emperor. Thus, his brother gradually let his guard down. When his cousin, Wan Yan-liang, became the emperor, Wan Yan-yong once again became the thorn in the emperor's side.
现在收到完颜亮的诏书，我们的处境实在进退两难。我如果学十重之妾绿珠，跳楼殉情，纵然保全了名节，可雍王你就危险了。可如果我顺从了完颜亮，名节不保，你也蒙羞。
Wan Yan-liang was suspicious by nature, vicious and murderous. During his reign of 12 years, Wan Yan-yong felt like walking on thin ice every day. On the advice of Lady Wu Linda, Wan Yan-yong shaped himself as a deferential and incompetent brother, and survived. However, the terrible thing finally happened. Wan Yan-yong was sent to Shandong to be the local governor. At the same time, Lady Wu Linda received the edict from Wan Yan-liang to go to the capital and take care of the emperor. She was caught in a double bind. If she went, she would never see her husband again, and she would also disgrace him, but their family could survive. If she didn't go, it would be considered disobedience to the edict and give Wan Yan-liang the excuse to kill the whole family of Wan Yan-yong.
我只能先答应完颜亮的要求，然后在路上自杀。这样，你可以脱掉干系，而我也保住了清白之躯。请原谅我，就这样离开你。人世间的事，总难两全。为你而死，我心甘情愿。
This year, Wan Yang-yong and Lady Wu Lin-da were 30, and they had accompanied each other for 25 years. Without discussing with her husband, Lady Wu Lin-da set off to the capital alone. When the convoy arrived at the courier station in Liangxiang, they stopped to have a rest. The courier station was only around 70 kilometers from the capital. Lady Wu Lin-da wrote her last letter here. On the night the letter was sent, she escaped the guards and threw herself into the lake.
完颜亮罪恶滔天，人神共愤，迟早都会死于非命。而雍王你，有才有德，应该积蓄实力，时刻准备取而代之。如果能成功，务必要停止暴政，以仁义治天下。要知道，民心才是立国的根本。我死不足惜，请你以大局为重。我在九泉之下，也一定会保佑你。不要孤独，不要害怕，我一直都在你身边，一刻都不会离去。
In 1161, Wan Yang-yong finally overthrew the tyranny of Wan Yang-liang and took the throne in Liaoyang. He was Emperor Shizong of Jin. He was the most brilliant and successful emperor in the history of the Jin Dynasty. In the nearly 30 years from his enthronement to his death, Wan Yang-yong never appointed an empress. In his mind, this position remained reserved for Lady Wu Lin-da, who grew up with him, went through hardship with him, and died for him. Love is a topic of universal interest. In life, as interpreted by two people together, there is happiness, sadness, cold rainy days, and sunny blue skies. Thanks to these letters, we are presented with an undying image of love.